Okay, so my dog is barking today, but anyway, day number 2, tip calculator. That's what we did. Okay, I was kind of working out on that one. Let's get back to it. Let's just jump right in. It was a tip calculator. That's what we did on day number 2. So here it is in Python, and if you're doing Angel use code on one of the days of code, I think you understand everything that's on this code. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to dive into Java, okay? And another interesting thing that we're going to do again today is we're also going to jump into JavaScript. And we're going to have it in JavaScript and, of course, in Python, all right? But before we dive into it, if we go on to Google and type tip calculator right under the search bar, just type it there like tip calculator and then hit enter. And Google is very clever. It actually, brings up the tip calculator right in front of you, right there. So that's something that I thought really is interesting to take note of, because then you can actually start working on your tip. Like right there, if you come up on this bill here, let's say we have a bill of 10, and we are $20. The bill and the tip is 15, and it's for 4 of us, and it actually calculates that the tip total is $3, and the bill total will be 23. Okay, so that's very interesting for us to take note of, because that's exactly what we were working on. And this is the code in Java. You can tell it's a little bit longer. I was doing a little bit of experimenting too. Okay, so I'm going to come back to that very soon. This function will be called right here. Will be called either when this happens or when that happens. And how much is the total bill? And that's the first line that comes up. And remember, we did this yesterday when we're checking an we editing here. If the user line in front, so we're saying if the cost that the user inputted started with $1, and then we're gonna ignore that dollar, and then we're gonna take everything after the dollar sign and cast it in an int. So whatever the user is gonna put in, we're gonna cast it in an int, and then we're also gonna do the same for the number of people, and then we start doing our maths afterwards. Okay, so here we have the number. Here we're not taking away the percent sign. That's what we're telling them, and so that we don't really do any formatting after they enter the number. Okay, so the tip will be an int as well. So we just do the calculation like what Google was doing right just now. We're doing the same dollars, and then the 4 of you, the bill will be $5, and then you have to add 75%, rather 75 cents as 75. So under the 100, right, and then we multiply with the cost plus the cost, and then we take that and divide by the number of people. Then we get the total bill as well as the individual bill. Alright, so that's the rundown of the code. You already know how it breaks down, but you can pause it if you want to, take a little bit look at some more. So back up here on our terminal, we just want to see where we are. Okay, we are in the middle, day 1, day 2. So let's move to day 2. Okay, there we go. Day 2 we're in. Let's say question 2 files: tip calculator in Java, tip calculator in Python. Right? Are they okay? No hidden files yet. All right. So we're good to go. Let's run our first program. Tip calculator, right? Boom. So it's gonna ask us how much was the total bill. We're gonna say 20. And how many people are splitting? We're gonna say 4. And the percentage tip, we're gonna say 15. All right. And so each person should pay $5.75. So we've reached the same verdict right there. Okay, awesome. 175. Very good. So there's another way of right here formatting this so that you get 2 digits every time. Let me see if I can run it again. Team calculator. Okay, let's say the bill was 23, and it's the 4 of us. And our percentage is still 15. Okay, so you see here, it say each person should pay 6.6125. Okay, yeah, that's no longer monetary terms, right? We need to keep it 2 significant figures, and 2 significant figures. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. So in order to do that, we use the format string, right? So here they have this curly braces thing, and then they do like this. Alright, and what comes in the string just to be a string, so this calibers has to be in a string as well. Oops, he removed them all. In case you want to play games with me. Okay, there we go. Right, so you put the dot and the 2%, 0.25s. Okay, so if you do it like that, you're simply saying, okay, whatever you go from these numbers, these two numbers for the individual view, format it to two significant figures. Right, so we're gonna save that, and since Python, it doesn't require compilation, we're just going to come back and try and rerun it again. Right, and again we're going to say our bill is 23, and our the number of people splitting the bill is 4, and our percentage tip is 15, and then we're going to hit enter. Oops, we had an error there. I misspelled the word format. Okay, let's try that again. Alright, save it. Okay, we're back. Let's not burn it from there. Instead, let's go back to the top, right? So we might just want to clear our screen. Alright, and now let's run it again. Python tip calculator, and remember we said we worked with 23 because we know it was an odd number and it was going to give us 6.66 what. But now that we have done formatting, we now get 6.661, alright, which is very good. This is what we were trying to achieve. Remember, we started with 23, and we're dividing that by 4, and we're getting 575. Oh, sorry, we were saying 15% of 23 plus 23, and then you divide that by 4, and then you get, oops, doesn't work like that, does it? Okay, let's figure out the 15% first, alright, and then we edit manually, because I think there's sometimes when you trying to do these things and then the memory doesn't recall the last number you wanted to save. So it's 3.54, then we add 23 to that, and then you have to hit equals all the time, I think. Yes, and then you divide that by 4, so you're gonna get 6.6125. Okay, that's the original number that we had, and now we had managed to format it. Now we get 6.61, so that's exactly what we wanted to do with the money. If the user enters the money with a dollar sign or whatever, actually it's going to be like an after the dollar sign. That's what this code does. So have some trailing numbers after. It's being called either here or here. If they don't use the dollar sign, we call them from here. If they use the dollar sign, we first remove the dollar sign, and then now before we go to the Java part, because I think the Java part was a little bit more longer than the last one. So let's go back to this one, right? What we're going to do is we're going to do control inspect, and we're going to pull up the developer tools, right? There's a shortcut to that, but it's not responding, so I'm going to use inspect instead. Okay, even inspect is not responding. Sorry, it wasn't. It's not like the shortcut wasn't, but something was happening. Taking longer. Alright, that's fine. Let's leave it for now. We'll come back to it when it's ready to respond. Let's shift into our second part. Clear our screen. It looks like the whole machine kind of froze. Okay, clear. Alright, we're on day 1, so we need to go up, CD, up, and then go into day 2. Oops, there's no volume like that. I misread that one. Day 2, spread like this. Okay, let's check if we have the 2 files that we're after. We do. Lovely. So let's look at it again. Okay, so you remember scanner from yesterday, and then today we're introducing 2 new friends, arrays, and we're also introducing parseInt from the integer class. The reason why we're using parseInt, as you noticed just now, is because we want to treat the strings as integers. And strings, but remember what we said when we ask for a prompt, you print the line separately and the prompt comes after. So the prompt is kind of silent, but the print line comes before it so that they know that what's if the prompt is up, what is they required to type in or to enter, right? So here we want to start by welcoming them and then asking them what's the total bill. Remember we said sitting.in is also what it refers to the keyboard. So if you missed that part, go back on day number 1. That's where we explain that part. And so we're starting with a total of 0 as our first initial total, and then we're taking out the amount, which is this one what we're getting here. Why are we taking it and piecing it? Say for example we have the user enters this number. Okay, when the user enters that number, it's a string for now, and if we split it into character arrays, we're going to have a character standing for the dollar, and we're going to have a character standing for the number 4, and we're also going to have another character for number 8 and another one for number 9, like that. So that's a character array. So everything in that string is now split to be standing on its own. I should put it like over here, like this. Okay, that's your character array. That's what we're doing. So now what are we doing? We're now creating a new string where we're just taking the character from number 1, which is this part here, that's where we started from, to the end of the rather, where do you want to copy, where are what position to the end of it. So that's what we're doing here. So we now have a new character array which doesn't have this part string, and then we now have our money without the dollar sign. So it's kind of long in Java, and there probably are better, shorter ways of doing it, but that's the way our total will be. Okay, so that's the first. This is interesting because we're no longer taking it as a string, but we're already taking it as an int, and we're storing it as an int variable as well. So taking that number as an integer, and then we're putting up there, and then taking the tip. Again, we're doing the same thing like we did last time with Python. Give us the number, and then we take it as well, so store it like that. And then now we do the mathematics, the double. So double and float accommodate the decimal places and numbers. Okay, so that's what we're doing. We're saying tip multiplied by the total plus the total. That's the total bill, and it's a double. Okay, and then last time had the curly braces kind of thing, and it has a colon dot 2f. In Java, it's different. You want to format. So okay, so again, remember the name is Java C. This is the compilation part, right? Java C, and then we go tip calculator. Okay, and attention as well, especially when you're compiling. So if it compiles correctly without any errors, it comes back without anything, without saying anything. But if there's an error, it's gonna come back to us and tell us, oh, I found an error over here, and then we're gonna try and fix it, right? So that's the first part done with. And then the next part that we do, if it compiles perfectly, we're just going to run Java and tip calculator. We no longer use the .java extension after. If you remember, like we said yesterday, is because when it compiles, it creates a binary file, if you remember. Okay, I don't know why it's lagging like that, but it shouldn't be. But anyway, let's look at our folder again this time around. and see if we have our class. Okay, there we go. So we have the Java and the binary class, which is tip calculator. Now we're gonna run it. Now we no longer use Java C, but just Java, all right? And we're gonna run tip calculator. Okay, lagging behind, which results in typing errors, because you'll be done typing and then you realize, oops, I added another extra T, and then you want to backspace, you backspace too much and you leave another T again. Something like that continues on and on, okay? But we'll run. So let's see. It's gonna ask us the questions. And what was the total view? Okay, we're gonna do $20. Okay, so we included the dollar sign right there. Okay, so it's gonna be taken care of by that method that we did. And we're gonna say 24 people, and we're gonna say 15 was the number of the tip. So each we have an error right there. The bill is 0. The person pays 0. Everyone pays 0. Look at that. It didn't work the way we supposed it to work. Okay, so let's go back and see what is it that we did wrong. That's interesting. Wait, what happened there? Okay, so what probably happened is that we didn't pass the total where it was supposed to go. I think that's the only thing we're missing, because here we're saying total is like by everybody else. Yeah, that's cool. Oh, I see. Okay, cool. So let's look at it again. Nothing is changing it. So over here, when we started with the dollar, you remember that's what we did. Are we reassigning? Here we should do it. We should do it over here. We should say like what we did here. Integer value of s. If the amount was entered without the dollar sign, we will just take the amount, integer value of the amount, because we want to treat it as an integer. But if you want to treat it as a double, right here, we would say pass double, right? And then the total will also have to be initialized as a double. But because we want to treat it as an integer, because we are silly, because money should generally be as a double. But anyway, we're treating it as an integer, so that's what we're going to do. So we're going to assign our total to integer. Okay, some auto completion coming through there. Thank you for that. And then we take the method, we're calling in the value of method. Thank you for some auto completion as well of s this time, all right? And remember, s is now a string, taking the value of the amount as well. Okay, so that's pretty much everything that we wanted to do with that. That's what we were missing as well. Okay, we'll be back in a little bit, but don't worry about it. We won't bite. Okay, and my nana is also gonna meet up with some friends outside. So anyway, tip calculator. Wait a minute. Okay, there we are. .java right there. So that's the compilation. Probably compiles very fast. And while it does, let's go back and check if our developer tools is still lagging a little bit, because these elements should have loaded way long ago. But okay, cool. You can actually work with JavaScript right here on the console. Right? Told you. If you're not responding when I'm typing, you're going to be behind. Alright, so here we go. Console is one of those functions in Java, right? I don't know why it's not responding. So you can actually run the code right there. And the moment you start typing, just watch. It even gives you the auto-completion like you were in an IDE, which is very interesting. Another method that's very important in JavaScript is prompt, right? For example, if I say prompt, what's your name? What's your name? If I do that prompt, you see it comes up right here. It says google.com, saying what's your name, and because I'm on Google page, that's why it says it like that. Okay. Okay, good. So we can do that, and it works very well with the console because it has developer tools. So what I did was I wrote a function, which I'm going to touch on just now. Let's see for it's too um here it is. I didn't know else what to say, where else what to segment. Okay, but it doesn't really wasn't gonna we were not gonna use it for that anyway. Okay, so let's go back to our console, and then I'm gonna show you the function I just wrote in one function. Okay, like that. So I'm gonna hit enter, and then the function is what we're in with input in Python. So that's what we're doing here. What is the total view? And the console is what allows us to for. It won't print it out to the console, so we had to manually log it on the console like we're doing here. Like give it a label. This is our cost, and it prints out the number of people. We give that a label as well, and we print it out, and then we get the tip. Again, everything else is just pretty much almost the same. One thing that you notice that's different is when you want to format it to two decimal places, it's used to fix. This is the method that I noticed is used to fix, and then you pass in the number of decimal places that you want. In this instance, we just want 2. So that's pretty much everything. In the end, we just printing out the total bill as pay. So here we go, tip calculator, and again it gives us the autocomplete, which is very interesting. We appreciate that. And then we hit enter, and as soon as we hit enter, the computer goes to sleep. Just kidding, it's lagging behind, but you see the prompt comes out. As we did last time, we're gonna do, let's do 23 as usual. Okay, and then it prints out for 20 right there in the console at the corner here, if you see. And then how many people are splitting the bill? We're gonna say 4, and then it prints out people is 4, and the tip percentage as usual 15. I'm not sure whether you're generous like that in your country, right? All right, there, and 75 being the tip. But here we get in 320. What's happening? Okay. So the problem that we might be having, if you notice, is we're getting these prompts as strings. So part of what could be happening is at one point it's treated as a string, and at another point it's treated as a number. So you're gonna have these numbers which are treated as a string, then concatenation happens. If it's being treated as a number, then the actual arithmetic operation occurs. So it could be addition, it could be multiplication. So to take care of that, let's try and make use of a method called pass. I like the auto-completion because it gives us the hint. Okay, right, pass int. We're continuing with our limit, and we're using limited mind because we are being polite to ourselves, but we're going to continue. Okay, so number of people also, we're going to treat that as an integer. So let's do pass int again, and we're going to wrap everything that we get from the prompt as a number, like that. Okay, I think that should solve it for us. If it doesn't, then we'll come back and make the tip an int as well. Okay, but for now, let's try, because I think it was doing a very good job inferring what we were trying to do last time. So it might tip calculator, and then we call it using the parentheses, and we hit enter. Okay, we're waiting for the prompt to come up. That's the first thing that we're waiting for. Should we hit enter again, or be patient? Okay, let's be patient. No, why should we be patient? Let's just hit enter again. We haven't hit enter the first time. So there we go. 20. And it prints out, and then 4, the number of the people, and it prints out how much the percent of the tip. We say 15, and there we have it. See, everyone is now paying. The bill is corrected. Okay, so we are supposed to make it an integer, right? That's what we were missing out there. So n places, all right. Maybe we remember which doesn't have which is not even, like 23 to start with. Okay, let's do that. I've pressed. Nah, look at that now. Didn't work the way I wanted it. I pressed it too much. No worries. Let's, okay, waiting for the prompt. Oh, there it is. 23. Number of people 4. Tip 15. Enter. Yes, nicely formatted. 2 decimal places. So here you remember how places. And like Java, we also use semicolons at the end. JavaScript right there for you. Okay, awesome. So we're back. And what did we leave out? Again, the semicolon, like I was saying. We use semicolons in JavaScript, and we save. Yep, it's saved. And we go back. Okay, so here we are. Java C, and to signify that we're calling Java compiler. And the .java extension is required when you're compiling, right? Awesome. So there we are. And you know what time it is, right? Version control. So we focus much on it because we covered much of it yesterday. But you might be interested to see. We can log in the day number 2. Okay, so here we are on our last part, right? So we're gonna do there are 2 ways we can do it, right? We can simply edit there. For example, if we say the status, we have day number 2, which is ready to be committed. Right? This is one way we can do it. But the disadvantage of doing it like this is if you want to document, like, day number 2, you work on a tip calculator, this is what we can't do that if we upload it like that. Okay? That's the issue we're going to have. But for the sake of time, probably we're going to have to do that for today. Alright? So our compilation is done here on the Java side. So let's come back slightly on Java and see if we can run it. Okay, so we no longer use the Java extension. We're just going to do tip calculator in Java. Okay, cool. So last time we tried to run this, we didn't get anything coming out. The bill was 0, the tip was 0, and each person was paying nothing as well. And we kind of figured out that we're not reassigning the total. So we're just going to do the same as we did last time. We're working with 23. No, we forgot to. Anyway, we'll run it one more time, alright? We forgot to use the $sign. We wanted to test out if you can take out the $sign, alright? And this is something that you'll notice here is right on the line. The reason why it's doing that instead of another line is if you come over here, I think we're using print instead of print line. Oh yeah, right here at the end. We're using print. And previously we're using print line. So if you use print line, it automatically goes on to the next line by itself. So that's why we're seeing a little scratch right like that. But nothing really to worry about. Let's run it one more time. And this time we're going to use the $sign. 20. Again, it's for all of us. And we usually give 15. Alright, there we go. So, yeah, it managed to take care of the $sign. Wonderful. Okay, so that's our tip calculator in Java, JavaScript, and Python. Okay, so on the version control side, we have 2 ways to do it. Like enter separately, create a folder for it, and then we can actually add some documentation towards that. But for the sake of time, because we've kind of consumed a lot of time talking about, and also adding JavaScript to the whole thing, let's just do it the normal way, right? Let's do git end. I'm going to say day 2 for now. If it doesn't work, then we're going to go up the forward. Of course, we have to go up the forward. Okay, let's do that. cd dot. Okay, and now where we are, we have those two, right? Awesome. So now let's do git add day 2. Awesome. And that's our status. Okay, so here we go. We have this class has been introduced right there, and you notice that our dot class is also included. I thought we took care of this like yesterday. I thought we took care of the dot class because we don't want that to be taken in as well. Okay, so let's do it the same way we did yesterday. This problem is going to continue to come, but tomorrow we're going to have a permanent solution where we declare the git ignore from outside. What's stopping us from doing that today? Okay, here we are. And let's again. Oops, we're way too far. Okay, we need to go back. cd 100. Okay, and let's now. That's where we are. I think we're going to declare our git ignore from here. Okay, let's clear the screen for now. And then remember, we use nano and inbuilt text editor in there, and it's kind of fancy too. I should add. And then everything that ends with dot class, ignore that. Everything that also ends with git, ignore that as well. Okay, save. Alright, cool. So now let's check our status. Okay. We want to unstage the other file right there, which is git im git day 2 / type calculator.class. Hope we get the name correct. I'm going to come up here. Just to type it as Kate. Okay. Okay, good. So status. Alright, good. So those two will not be committed, alright? And then we do git I'm not sure if my git ignore is working the way it's supposed to. Did I type it as git ignore? Ah, that's why. Yeah, because I wasn't supposed to unstage it like I did there. So the reason is I mistyped it, right? So let's delete that one. Remove that file called git ignore. I mistyped it. and I left an I, so that's why it's not working. Okay, so what we wanted to do was use nano to create a file which we call git ignore. Let's pause and check if the spelling is correct this time. Okay, looks good. And we have our notepad, our fancy notepad, because we don't know what we're doing and they think, oh, these guys are so good, look at what they're doing here. The class, we're saying we're going to ignore that, and also we're going to ignore git ignore, because it shouldn't be telling you that you forgot git ignore. It should remember. Look at that. Okay, always make sure that you get your spellings correct, because I kind of get a mistake of that a lot. Okay, so let's check our status again. So you see, now we know it's no longer talking about get this left out, you're gonna get this left out, but now it's no longer doing that. So that's pretty wonderful. Okay, so now let's go ahead and commit git, and let's use the m tag to pass in a message, right? We're gonna say day 2 tip calculator. Okay, git commit m date calculator, and I think that's just sufficient right there. Okay, I think that's just sufficient for now. That's our main message tag, and then we hit enter. Misspelled calculator, but it's okay. There it goes. And then the last thing that we need to do before we close, you guessed it, git remote push, right? Remote. You put the U tag first, or you put the U tag after? Remote push. Let's see. Kind of forget now what we did yesterday, but we will check right on the site. Okay, so let's go there together. The main item, readme, kind of blank. Okay, blinking out on me. Let's try another tab. Oh no, everything is just freezing up on me. Okay, and even the cursor itself is spinning around like it doesn't know what we're doing here. Yeah. Okay, git remote push. I think what you need to do is you push. I think that's what I'm missing out. Let me just confirm that. Okay. Push. Okay. Oh, I don't know what I was doing here. Just gonna do that. Okay, for now. Okay. Let's try git remote origin name. If you're watching this, please type the command out for me. Yesterday, but I forgot today. Yeah, we keep learning. But that's why I was saying, we learn so much stuff, but we don't learn so much on version control. And this is gonna get a toll on us. Imagine you're in an interview and you've just done this saying, okay, now you can upload your files, and you're like, oh, I don't know the command. Crazy, right? Okay, git remote. Um, Oh, look at that. My computer is lagging as well. Looks like everything is now working against me. Let's see. Backspace, backspace, backspace. Come on. Don't freeze up on me. We're just about done. Okay, the G. Actually, you know what I think? Because we did specify this yesterday. Why don't we just say git push? Because everything else was specified already, right? So all we have to do is just press git push and hit enter. Okay, what's happening? Some fancy coding stuff, maybe. I hope so. And we're gonna come back onto our 100 days of code, right? To see if there's anything showing up. I think really in the mood. Ah, I see. So it didn't work that way. It probably needs us to. It's saying it failed to push. Hmm. I'm gonna do it the normal way, okay? Git remote origin me. Come on, type it up. You know, it's crazy. Actually, I should have put. No, look at that. I type again. That's what happens every time. Git push remote origin me. Okay, one last time. Let's see if that one works. If it doesn't work, then we're gonna end the video here because we can take. Look at that, another typo. GTI. Who loves the GTI? If you were in the cars, do you like GTI? Let us know, okay? So I'm trying to use my cursor to bring me to the GTI point, and then I'm gonna do a backspace there and hit enter. See what happens, okay? Okay. I guess that's it. Put up the T. No, that's not it. Kind of took away the G as well. Okay. Let's see if we can get the G. This is really not about the internet. I don't know if it's a recording program that kind of accepts the energy of the computer. Not too sure. But there we have Git push remote origin main. I think it looks good. Let's hit enter. Okay. And some fancy computer stuff happening in the background. Okay. Not really fancy. I think it's just uploading to that folder. Um, which you gave your address to like yes. Ah, this is gonna take a whole lot of time to try to fix. Let's end it here, okay? I'm gonna look through how best we can do it. Yeah. If you're watching that the computer is lagging, I think we're gonna have, what is it saying? To remote. Okay. Hold on. I know I said that was last time, but hold on. Oh, I hate it when it freezes like this. I'm gonna try and come on remote, okay? We're gonna take away the word remote and just do with push to the origin and main, okay? Because push already is a command that knows that we're putting it onto the remote side of the repository. 1, 2, 3, 4. That will take us to M. 1, 2, 3 will take us to push. And we'll wait and wait. We'll wait for it to catch up with us, alright? Try to backspace that word remote. That's all I've done so far. And we're waiting for it to respond. Wow. This is think never happened before. Okay, so accordingly it's exactly where we want it to be. So let's hit the enter. But push origin main. Okay, cool. That's where we want it to be. Let's see what comes out of that. Okay, still the same story. Alright, okay then. I have given up. I have given up. Ah, so you need to do a pull before you push. Amazing. Okay, let's do a pull then. Git pull, okay? Is that? I should have done a merge and then a pull. Okay, so that's something I need to learn about. I think that's something I really need to learn about. I didn't figure that out earlier, so I'm going to read about it and we're going to share some more, okay, on how to merge that and then pull it back so that they're on the same level. Because I remember that it actually is making sense. I was typing out something yesterday which has to do with the readme, and I think that's what they're trying to say, that that information you added there is not the same as what you have locally. So you need to merge the two, and then when you're on the same level, then you can push the changes. Alright. So anyway, thank you for staying out, and thank you for the comments that will also help me to see how best you can do it. Please comment, because I really don't like reading the docs. I like reading what people read already. So if you have read this, please just share it in the comments. I'm going to read through and then see how best I can do this. Okay. Thank you very much, and we'll see you again tomorrow on day number 3. We'll see how best you can do it. So